goalbuddycast. Goalbuddycast. How are we going to start this one off? You're going to start it off with a call to Sarah, or are you going to wait for that?
Let's go right into it. I'll call her in a little bit. Everyone, thanks for listening to Goal Buddy Cast. We got my brother Adam.
Hey, everybody.
And me. The first Wednesday. Travis kidding. The first Wednesday.
The best goal-oriented podcast on the interwebs. You heard it here first, and probably only heard it here.
Yeah, it's not.
That's because it's a secret.
It's not the best, but
Best kept secret.
best kept secret. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And so we've been doing these goal type conversations. This is our third month. This is May, released the first Wednesday of every month, and we've come up with goals throughout the past couple months. Things are evolving. People are,
Involving themselves.
Yes. And anyway, we're getting messages. I like to hear, in fact, if you're listening to this right now and you have a goal, even if you haven't listened to this before, just message me your goal. I want to know what you're doing. I'm not going to hold you super accountable if you don't want me to, but I can't. And I'd like to read it too. I'd like to say, okay, these are what these people are doing. This is how things are going. I got some things as they go. But anyway, and I'll read those here in a little bit. It won't be right now, but we will get to that here in a little bit.
Yeah. And just as a reminder, as you're coming up to your goals and such, this isn't like, hey, I have to really improve myself necessarily. It could be something like, oh, I've never done this. I've always wanted to do this sort of a thing.
It took me 2 months to find my goal.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear it.
Okay, so here's some of my goals.
Do we want to talk about what you didn't have a goal last month?
No, I didn't know.
Do we want to cover goals that we did do last month? Like how like updates?
I didn't have
before
a goal.
we dive into. I know, but I did.
Yeah, so let me do me, and then we'll do you.
So you're just going to dive into your new goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was this month.
I know.
So it was for April. I figured it out what it was for April. And then
Gotcha.
Okay, so here's my recap of April. In April, the beginning of April, I realized that I think I was kind of like mentally clogged. Sometimes when you listen to, when you think of goals, you're like, well, I need to work out, and I don't want to do that. I always do that. I want to do something like, I need to, I think I was just like lying to myself. It's like, you know what? Yeah, you need to get active. Go get active. And so my goal is to do 40 push-ups. I'm up to about 28 push-ups in a row. So wow. I am not, I'm doing a few. I'm not doing it every day. That's where the habit tracker comes in, though, is to kind of like, okay, I'm going to, did I do them today? Oh, I didn't do them today. And you can kind of budget yourself, kind of see, man, it's been like 3 days. I feel like I just did them yesterday. It's actually been 3 days. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of check out the habit tracker that we have. A habit tracker is this card that Sarah Johnson, one of our friends, who is also co-host, that we're going to call her later on this episode to kind of like get her update. But anyway, I've been kind of seeing with that. I've also, people have said, Travis, you drink way too much. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I barely drink. Shut up. And I smack them.
This is the person in the mirror. They're like, you drink way too much. What are you talking about?
I punched that mirror for the fourth time in a week. But no, I record. I stack and stack and stack. And usually when I'm recording, I'm stacking on top of all those. So I'll record like 2 episodes in a night, and I'll have beers. But then you're listening, or the listeners are listening to it Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and it's like, oh, wow, this guy's always drinking. No, I'm not. But I'm drinking a whole lot more than I used to. And now I'm starting to think to myself, one of our buds, KP, and I can mention KP.
Yeah.
He says that what he does is if it's a school night, he doesn't drink. Now, for me, that's a little rough because I have obligations. But if I'm not recording and it's a school night, I'm not drinking.
So this is your goal for May. It's kind of combined with the thing that you're already working on.
Yes. So it's the push-ups, and now I'm also going to start cutting out that. And
okay, go ahead.
And I'm starting to drink more water. I know this sounds really stupid, but
no.
It's so dumb.
No, hey.
It's not your fault. Could you do the Good Will Hunting? It's not my fault.
No.
Okay.
So denied. Well, what you're going to do by drinking more water and drinking less calories, those push-ups are going to be a lot easier to do.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I'll also touch on something that I've been reading. This is in conjunction with your goal, your push-up goal. This is in Atomic Habits, which we've been reading. This is a theme running throughout our podcast so far. He talks about the importance of frequency over time spent. So you could spend, hey, I'm going to spend two weekends of the month, 4 hours each weekend learning guitar. You're not going to do as well as if you just spend 30 minutes a day for 2 weeks or something like that.
Wow.
Right? Because your brain creates connections. If you're sitting there and you're playing guitar for 4 hours, by the end of that 4 hours, you're like, wow, I've learned a lot. I'm doing really good. I got the muscle memory going from these 4 hours, but you're probably burning out on it, first of all. But then 2 weeks later, you go for another 4 hours, you've kind of muscle memory forgotten a lot of the stuff that you were doing 2 weeks prior.
You have to relearn a lot of things.
So frequency always outweighs time spent.
So you're saying jog, do the sunshine run. Don't look to do a marathon,
Right.
kind of a thing.
Yeah, do the little thing every day, and that's going to add up faster. And it's actually scientific that your brain will interact with it in a much more growth way, whatever. Like it's going to grow faster. The habit is going to grow faster if you just do it with frequency. Because what's happening is your brain is making connections. It's that part of your brain is interacting with itself so much that it's making all these new connections and channels and pathways, and that's going to just make you better and better and better. And that's the cool thing about life is the more you do something, the better you get at it.
Hey, Adam, does practice make perfect?
No, practice makes
Permanent. EHS basketball camps drove that in my head. All right, so I'm done with mine. What about you? What's yours?
So last month, my goal was to revamp my website. And I'd say I got about 75% of the way there on that. So it's adamkennyart.com. You can check it out and you can send me some feedback and say, hey, this would be a lot better if you did this. One thing I'm looking into is, so basically what I did was I just kind of redesigned it so that it looks better, it works better. A couple things that I didn't do that I want to do is revamp my gallery and my shop. One thing I'm looking into is there's something called art storefronts, and essentially it's like a service that if you upload your art, they will create this sort of storefront for your website where people can go in, look at your art, choose what sort of size canvas they want, what type of canvas, or if it's printed on paper or printed on metal or whatever, like wood. And so they give you all these options. It costs a bit of money. So I'm looking into maybe that's maybe a future endeavor. I'm not sure. And then they take care of all the shipping and handling and all that sort of stuff. So they print it off at their warehouses and then they ship it to the customers. So then I don't have to print stuff and ship things, which is nice.
Can I jump in for a second?
Please.
So one of the things that really helped direct me with my goals was talking to a buddy of mine. I drop his name quite often, too often, if somebody say, but Edred.
Yeah.
And I thought merchandise was the main thing for me. Now, obviously, we're different. You actually kind of need to put your art out there. It's free advertising. And so for me, though, I thought, man, merchandise is going to be, I need to get focused on that. Because he was talking about, you want to make money at the podcast? I'm like, that'd be kind of fun. He's like, yeah, okay. Well, what do you want to do? I'm like, merchandise. And he's like, you know what? Merchandise. Hey, how many of your favorite, people, bands how many of those T-shirts do you own? Well, I may own one. Yeah, you probably own one from the concert you went to, but you're not like checking their website every week. You're not seeing if they drop in something else. Rarely are you looking to really buy more than just one, maybe two shirts. And so he said, you're really not going to make all that money for what you're doing. You know, you might sell a couple at some live events, which I have. You might be able to sell some with some subscriptions, but that's what I should be focusing on is sponsorships and subscriptions. And that was like a big thing for me because I was like tearing into Redbubble. I was watching your videos on YouTube, which were really cool, which was really good. I was looking at Redbubble. I was doing my research, and I'm like, okay, well, how much will I make of this? Until he said that, and I almost needed someone to say, don't go down that road yet. You're not there yet.
Yeah.
Have you had anyone kind of speak to you and say, hey, rather than looking into something, like you're looking at the advertisements, obviously everyone's trying to sell you something. Have everyone said, kind of put their arm around you and said, hey, let's ease up on this over here. Why don't you focus on this instead?
So with my website, I'm not looking into advertising.
Okay.
I'm looking into a platform for people to be able to purchase my art. So what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, several years is printing my own prints, and people purchase my prints when I like throw out like, hey, on Facebook or whatever. But what the difficult part of that is that I have to then break my printer out, which I have a really small place. I don't have a spot for my printer, so I got to break it out. I got to get my paper set up for it. I have to get it all shipped out myself, make sure that the printer's running well. And if a printer's not plugged in for a while and not running, I have to let the ink run for a while, which costs a lot of ink. I don't have a great system. So I'm just looking into this art storefront thing as an idea, because as an artist, really what I'm selling, I mean, there is that sort of personality aspect, which I haven't really touched on, of like, hey, people want to support you because they like you, right? Mm-hmm. And like I said in an upcoming podcast that won't be released until after this one, I have commissions right now. So I am working on originals for people, and people are really interested in originals as gifts and things like that. I also have another project that I'm working on the side that I'm not ready to announce yet, but this is all sort of a way for me to...
Good tease, by the way.
Thank you. A way for me to sort of kind of take that part out of my hands a little bit, because it's like I don't really want to micromanage my prints and micromanage the shipping and micromanage all that sort of stuff. I'd rather that just be drop shipped from some other printer. Like my art is uploaded, they can just print it and send it to a customer. That way I don't have to even deal with it. And I can focus on things like making more art or promoting my art on social media or however, what have you, right? Focusing on doing the farmers markets and stuff like that, which I would need prints for that sort of stuff. But anyways, so no, I mean, I don't remember your exact question, but it's not like, hey, don't focus on this, focus on this. That hasn't really come up to me yet. It's kind of I've seen success stories with artists, and usually it has to do with exposure.
Yeah.
And so that's the trick, is the exposure. But I also want to have something like with the exposure, you kind of want to have something set up to where when the exposure hits, people are able to then access what you're offering and be able to do something with it, rather than, hey, here's all this exposure, but I have nothing to offer you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think we come from two different camps. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm the guy that runs headfirst into a jungle, and then I'm like, okay, now I've got to get a goal going on how to get out of this jungle. And I think your goal is more, okay, I know I need to head into this jungle, and now I'm going to set some goals on how I'm going to get through this jungle. Now, I may be like the tortoise and the hare, where I'm running way ahead of you, kind of a thing, faster than you. But you know, like, do you ever have anyone? But you're going to be in a jungle no matter what. And sometimes when you're in this jungle, you kind of sometimes need a spotter, someone on a cliff shouting or telling you where to go, because you're so like lost at times. And that's why these goals are good. But you're so lost where someone can say, hey, why don't you just like, do you have the funds where you could just, since you have to go to these farmers markets and stuff, and you got that printer out, rather than printing like 3 out and then you're going to mail those 3, why don't you just print like 100 of them and put them in a box and print another 100 of the other one? That thing.
Yeah. And I have done that in the past. And then what I'm left with is a whole box full of prints that are tough to sell because, well, they're essentially, I don't know if they're a loss at this point. I think I've probably made more money than I spent on them, but they take up space. I don't want to, what's the word? Like infringe on somebody else's space with my stuff. I don't have the space to be storing a bunch of prints. I just don't. So if I go like, hey, mom, dad, can I keep this in the attic? They might be like, yeah, sure, whatever. But at the same time, they were just pushing me to get all my crap out of their attic not too long ago.
Right.
So I don't know. I see your point in that. It is frustrating to have a whole bunch of prints left over. And especially like last year, I was going to do all these markets and things, and then COVID happened. And so that didn't happen. But I don't know. The thing is to have a spotter in the stuff. So I've talked with other artists, working artists who are professionals, and they say so much of it is unwritten. Like there is no key to how you're supposed to do this. Like it really is. Like
I agree.
One person has a story
of
like, oh, this really worked for me. Another person has a totally different story of, oh, this really worked for me. And they could be totally opposite.
Right. And they maybe tried the one thing and it didn't work. Or I think the thing that I've learned is that sometimes the things that you've tried in the past may actually work now.
Yeah.
Like back then, of course it didn't work, but you weren't at this level. I'm not saying you, I'm saying anyone in general. Like some of these goals that you're like afraid to do again because you're like, oh, I already tried that 5 years ago. It didn't work out for me. Well, yeah, you were working night shift. And you had this going on in your life and that going on in your life. And then you had an unreliable car, but you know what? Now you're working the day shift and now you have a reliable car. Mm-hmm. And now, you know what? Maybe it is time to try that thing again because you might be able to do it.
Yeah. And part of it is, it can totally be place and time and experience, right? Like I said earlier, it's like the more you do something, the better you get at that thing. And that's just the fact of life. So the more I've invested myself in this side of my life, this business, personal business, the better I've gotten at painting for sure. But the more I've seen what doesn't work and what does work. And it's kind of trying to see how I can make that all work together at some point. But you're totally right. One thing couldn't work for you earlier in your journey and then it could work for you later. So It's, I don't know. And to some extent, you're kind of like making it up as you go along a little bit.
Yeah.
And just seeing kind of, I think any effort you put towards something is going to pay off in some way, either because it fails or because it actually gains a little ground. Right. So and that's kind of part of this whole Goal Buddy Cast thing is to keep me invested in, for me personally, it is a combination of trying things I haven't tried before, but a lot of it is like, how can I make my life to where it's not a blur, to where where I'm not just coasting, where I'm not on my phone all the time, where I'm not distracted all the time. And so this is helping me.
Right.
Like I wouldn't have worked on my website probably if I didn't have this podcast to be doing, having that goal of like, oh crap, I need to work on this. Cause I put it off until like last weekend and it was like, I need to do this. Yeah. And so I sat down and I did it and it's not completely done, but I did a lot.
That's good. And it's a matter of finishing the as well, and that's what I have a hard time with. So the other thing that I was going to say, and we'll call Sarah here in just a bit, but I just lost what I was going to say. Because I thought of Sarah all of a sudden. Maybe I should just call Sarah.
Before we dive into Sarah's phone call, I haven't talked about what my upcoming goal is. Yeah. So for my goal for May, and I've already started this a little bit, and this has to do with the frequency thing, is I'm journaling. So I get up in the morning, I take my shower, I go to work, and I I do this on weekdays. Before I start working at work, I get the computer open, and I just open up this document that I have for my journal, and I just work through some thoughts, and I work through maybe some things that are going on in my life or whatever. And so I heard somebody talking about journaling recently, and they were saying that oftentimes our brains are constantly working and we're constantly thinking about things, but it's at kind of a surface level and maybe a little bit of depth to it, but it can just kind of be this cycle of thoughts. And until you work it out either verbally with somebody or work it out through a journal, you're not putting those thoughts into a sort of a cohesive or coherent, maybe is a better way,
right?
A coherent state to where you actually have to like grapple with it and be like, oh, I've been thinking about this all wrong, or or like it reinforces a thought or something.
Yeah.
So that's been really good. It's been really good just not only just build that little habit and just spend like 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day doing that, but also just to be like, wow, this actually revealed something to me that I hadn't even considered. Like I've been looking at, personally, like I had this sort of way in which I was viewing my life in light of my faith and stuff, where I was like, boy, this is not the right way of looking at things. And I don't think this is actually helping me at all. So yeah, journaling. That's what I'm going to be doing. Journaling for the next month.
All right, cool. Well, that's great. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's journaling. My thing, I've done journaling in the past. I tried it. I hope it works well for you. For me, I just hate writing.
Oh, really?
I need like a verbal thing. But I agree with you in the fact of getting it out there. I think that creates intimacy too for me and my wife. Sometimes everything's so surface level, things are just swimming around. That when me and Jamie, like we want to go on a date or we want to go, like that's perfect for those drives to just kind of like, hey, so I know I was chewing on this Werther's Original thing. And some people might chew on like 4 Werther's Originals or 25 Werther's Original things at a time. And it really helps me get, and I think that's probably where prayer comes in. That's probably where accountability comes in, talking to people that you're trying to be accountable with. This is the struggles. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm trying. It's not working. Everything. But just getting that verbal out there, I think pardon me. I think writing it out there is a great idea as well. But
yeah, I think, well, I know what you're saying. When Amber and I were going through premarital counseling, our counselor said that oftentimes we can just kind of keep things to ourselves. And communication is so key because once you start to verbalize a thought, you yourself could start to realize, oh gosh, that doesn't make that much sense.
Right.
And so it's an interesting thing of as soon as it escapes your mind, then you can kind of really actually weigh it. And verbalizing it with somebody, they can interact with it, which is a really good thing too. Yeah. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so journaling is my goal.
That's cool. Well, I can't wait to hear more about it. I hope it works. For me, I was thinking what I was going to tell you on the previous thing because it hit me finally. Was you're going up against teams when you're your own person and you're trying to survive in social media, post on 4 different platforms, get video going, get audio going, get visuals going, print stuff out, talk to people, interact, have a website. Like that's what like teams do for a business.
Yeah.
And sometimes people then also expect to have the old like, hey, yeah, I could go down to Walmart and get this for $40. Why don't you do it for me and sell it to me for $25 and I'm supporting a friend?
Right.
And it's like, you don't understand. Like that's not supporting me at all. And I appreciate you thinking about me, but darn it. Like you don't understand. Walmart can, they can do a whole lot more than I can do. And that's why they can get it so cheap for you.
Yeah.
But
that's
time is money.
Yeah. That's with art in particular, I think, or any sort of like skill-based service. That's really, pricing is really tough, especially with friends, because it's like, if I quote you for $150 for this thing and it takes me 15 hours to do, I'm only making $10 an hour on that.
Right.
And that is like not worth it, to some extent. And you're getting a piece of art that is 100% unique. That is, like nobody else in the world has it. This isn't Walmart where, like you say, Walmart or Target or Fred Meyer, where it's like, thousands of other families have this gather sign in their kitchen, right?
Right.
This isn't like paint and sip wine type thing. I spent a lot of time mixing colors and painting a picture of your loved one, So it's tough. That part is really, really difficult, and you can't come across that way either. You have to work with them and stuff. But as I've gained experience, I've tried to be more and more honest about that sort of stuff, because at some point it's like, well, would it be like, I want to be able to help this person create a memento for their loved one or their family or whatever. Like that to me is an awesome, awesome thing. And I'm willing to take a hit on that. But also, would I be better off creating original work that isn't a commission, that is just my own thing, and growing as an artist so that I can actually contribute more to the world in some way?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of maybe more of an ethical or moral dilemma. I'm not sure, but
anyways. Probably another conversation for another podcast.
No, that's this one. And let's dive into it.
Call Sarah M. Johnson. I got a butler. What? Call Sarah M. Johnson.
Hey there.
How's it going?
Hey, it's going good.
Good. It's good to hear your voice.
Hello.
No one's ever told me that.
It's good for you to hear my voice. Hey, we're in the segment of update us on your past month of goals and tell us about your upcoming month of goals. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So the last month, what I've really been focusing on is just trying to lay low and do what needs to be done. I know that sounds simple, but sometimes that's really hard. And so just this past week, I was able to find a kitchen so that I can expand grass and root. I haven't been going out very much, so I've been spending less money. And that's going to give me a way bigger opportunity to go do that. And so over this next month, I need to find someone to hire. I need to get all of my kitchen stuff cleaned up, ready to go, packed up, and moved into my new kitchen in South Seattle. And I still want to lose weight, but I just am eating everything still. So
hey, one goal.
That's just gonna have to be put on hold.
One goal at a time.
Yeah, right now I'm putting all of my desk stuff away. I had so much mail that I needed to go through, and I just tried cleaning up a lot of that type of clutter that kind of just weighs on you and you dread it. Just that kind of organizing, and boom, as soon as I started getting those projects done, organizing everything, my kitchen came to fruition. Everything just started falling into place. So we got to hope that I can find this miracle worker that's going to come help me with grass and root.
The hog dog.
Yes.
I've got a few ideas for those types of people that I'll send you the resumes. But real quick, what was the struggle of because I'm a social guy. I feel like sometimes I'm an extrovert and sometimes I'm an introvert. I don't know who I am. I recharge by myself, but I also like to be out there with friends. So how was it just to become a hermit for the month of April and just really know that, okay, this is going to better my situation if I do this?
Yeah, I'm a lot like you, Travis, in that regard. I think, I don't know if I'm an extrovert or an introvert. I get energy from both directions. Sometimes I need one, sometimes I need another. And so this month has just been really nice to really enjoy my space. And I don't know, I wish I could turn this switch on and off more often. And, but it's just so nice to be able to just curl up on my couch and read a book or organize my desk so that I can be more efficient and I don't dread sitting there. And, you just have to do all the things that need to get done sometimes. And I don't know how else to explain it other than that, but there's been a really large part of my life where I can just completely compartmentalize things and just shut that door and be like, nope, I don't want to open my mail. I don't want to clean my desk. I don't want to get the brake light fixed on my car or, any of those little tedious things that actually really aren't that bad, but you just have to cross them off and keep going. If those start catching up, they start weighing on you. And that's what I can't stand. So I just felt like I had a lot of that kind of baggage, little things from winter time and moving into my new house earlier this year and things like that it's I needed to clean those up. And it seems like to me, as soon as you clean them up, it opens space for some new opportunity to come in. I find that every single time. It's as soon as you clear it, it leaves space for something new now.
Adam is nodding his head profusely over there. And he's writing down on a whiteboard. He's saying, send her to my house because I have a desk and brake lights and stuff that she can do for me.
Yeah.
You know what else I've started doing? I started ordering all of my groceries on Amazon Fresh.
Okay, that's about enough time out of you. All right, thanks so much, everyone. Just kidding. My wife's a store director at a grocery store nearby, and this is the thing we dread.
Well, I'm sorry. I still go to the grocery store.
You're so nice. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But getting some of those little efficiency things down that are like, okay, you know what? I don't have time for this, but it needs to happen. Let's go. Like, just not letting there be any barriers of what needs to get done.
How are you with multitasking?
Well, I think I'm great at it. Just like everybody.
But like, let's say that you're preparing your juice. We've talked about this in the past. That's usually a weekend thing, getting everything ready, going. What are you doing while all that's going? Are you like also got your Excel spreadsheet open? You got your are you posted on social media? And is there a point where you feel like you're doing like 2 or 3 or 4 things all at the same time?
Yeah, a little bit, but I feel like I don't work very well that way. I need to. Things just get skipped. Like, I'll buy a box of bottles that cost me a couple $100, and I get them here and it's the wrong caps because I did it on my phone while I was at a stoplight. But if I sit down really intentionally and I put my intention towards like, okay, I need to order everything that I need to order for this week. I need to do that every Sunday so that it hits the mail on Monday. Some things take 5 days to get delivered. Like, I know that that's what needs to happen. So if I do that and I just sit down and you know what, my credit card info is already stored on this computer, and I'm like sitting here getting all the emails while I'm sitting there. I've got 2 screens. I can flag these emails that have tracking numbers, so then I can follow up and make sure that they're all getting here in time. And if I'm intentional about it, I make less mistakes and I float through things a lot quicker.
Gotcha. So basically, you take that deep breath when you're at that stoplight. Oh, I could probably do this. No, I'm just going to take my deep breath. I'm going to continue listening to Full Buddy Cast and continue driving. I don't want to interrupt the importance that's coming out of Travis's mouth right now. Is that what you're saying? Because I feel like that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Hey, so heading into this new month where you're saying that you're going to look to hire that superstar, are you LinkedIn? Are you posting on Facebook? Like, what's your game plan for doing that?
That's a great question. I have never been like super good at hiring people. I usually just like hire somebody that somebody knows, and it doesn't really work out well. So this is a new thing for me. So if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear from the pack.
Yeah.
About any successful ways that they find to hire people. I need to read some good interview questions. I mean, I've been doing enough interviews. I'm 37, so I do have a lot of corporate experience and things like that, but I need to find like a unicorn right now. So I don't know. I did put something up on social media on Grass and Root, but most of my followers are from the South End, and I'm looking for somebody in South Seattle, not like Puyallup, Enumclaw, Bonnie Lake. That's not gonna. I mean, if they want to commute, that's fine, but I don't really think that. I think my person's up here.
Yeah, I think your person's up there too. I think that's good. Focus there. I know that I'm sure there's a ton of restaurant people out there that are used to. They have their food handler's permit. That they probably had some things closed down, or maybe they're looking for something on the side, or they're a little nervous. So I think you might be able. It may be that if you find the right avenue of how to advertise it, you might have a ton of people that will be applying. So I don't have any tips except for like what I've heard in the past, like LinkedIn and other stuff.
Yeah. Can I make them send me a picture and like only have men apply?
Yeah. Yes.
Is this the new Tinder? Is me hiring somebody?
It is. You're swiping left, you're swiping right. You're matching. You're getting unsolicited cucumber pics.
That was a good one.
Well, that's exciting. We're gonna quickly recap you. We've already told the listeners, but we didn't want to like keep you on the phone forever because we know that you got the AT&T long distance plan. You don't have unlimited minutes.
Yeah, I need to load my minutes.
So my last month was just working out in the sense of just I want to get to 40 straight push-ups. I'm at around 28 right now. And that's my goal is to get. I was just like, you know what? I might as well just do the fitness thing because I really need to do the fitness thing. And now going into this next month, it's drinking less. It's like doing the school night thing, unless I'm recording, unless I have some sort of obligation. But recreational, just dumping beers in my mouth. That is, even though it really doesn't hinder me, believe it or not. Like I never get hungover. But it's the pounds. It's just feeling healthy. It's not like always feeling like I could be like losing weight. What if I drink water instead of these 45 Mac and Jacks that are giving me 5,000 calories in a night, kind of a thing?
Yeah, they're just totally empty calories, and you're operating with so much stuff now, and you have your full-time job, and then goalbuddycast is it seems like from talking to you.
It's going really good, guys. From talking to me.
If you're trying to operate at any type of level over just like waking up, going to work, and like hanging out, you have to have a clear head.
Yeah.
And drinking regularly does not give me a clear head at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that with you. All right, Adam.
I'm drunk right now.
Yeah, pounding them. Adam, what's your update from last year or from last month?
From last year, actually, I want to go back to junior high if we can. Last month my goal was to do my website, get my website fixed up, and I did that mostly. And then this next month I'm going to start journaling, which I've already started doing. Journaling on weekdays in the morning.
Oh, nice.
Do you have any experience with journaling, Sarah, that you want to gleam to Adam?
Mm-mm. I've never really been able to get into journaling.
All right, perfect.
I'm not one to write stuff down like that and leave a trail. I'm not trying to leave a paper trail. I'm kidding.
I murdered a man.
I really haven't ever gotten into it.
Yeah, well, you know that thing you do at like at campfires where you write something down and then you burn it? I do that every morning now with my journals. No, I don't do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to keep it safe.
Yeah. Eat it and then burn it.
What? Burn my poop?
Are you gonna do like any prompts to your journaling, or are you gonna like journal about anything specifically, or just like whatever comes to mind, you're gonna just get it out?
Mostly I'm doing whatever comes to mind, but I kind of have a general. It's not even general. It's almost like my mind supplies me with some sort of prompt because life happens, and it's like, well, what do I think about this thing that just happened, right? And so then I just kind of write that down. So it's kind of like life is giving me prompts, but I don't. I read that if you journal, you shouldn't like focus too much on trying to be like a perfect writer or anything like that. Like you're not writing an essay. You're just trying to get some thoughts down because the more you try to make it perfect, the less likely you are to follow through, or the more burned out on it you'll be. So I'm just trying to writing down thoughts. Yeah.
I like that. Maybe that's why I've never gotten into it, is that I was not just like, cool.
All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I like how you said that. And I kind of,
you know what? Based off Sarah's reaction to my journaling, I don't think I want to do that anymore.
I want to journal how much I don't want to do it.
Hey, life gave me a prompt.
Do you want to be on the phone when I read some of these listener comments, or do you want to be off the phone and be surprised, Sarah?
Are there any of them that I should listen to?
We all have something for you, actually. No. Let me get this pulled up real quick. So a few of these people that have been commenting often, Holly Graff is one of them. My goal was to travel nonstop in April and May. So far, so good. It was cry face emoji. They don't have Pelotons. Now, she was doing 3 rides a week getting ready for this Mexico trip. And so now she's there. So she said they don't have Pelotons in Mexico. Shrug emoji, cry face emoji. I feel like I'm in The Circle. You guys watch The Circle on Netflix?
Thinking that.
I'm The Circle right now. Hashtag bad girls for life. No, I'm kidding. So I think Sarah and I like share a brain.
Oh, the Dipshits Club.
Yes. That fishing adventure. She did this fishing video where she was like deep sea fishing and almost got pulled off the boat. She said that amberjack was so hard to reel in, I thought the damn thing was pulling me on overboard. I named it Richard because it was a real dick. So her goal was, so maybe that Peloton, and she may not know it yet, we can talk about it and she'll listen to this, but maybe that Peloton, like that, keeping those legs moving, arms, and got her ready for that fishing, get that fish in the boat. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We've got also Casey Scott, friend of the podcast. She's been the one that's been taking care with that garden, getting that garden going. She was taking care of you should know, like the seeds, or she like purifies them or whatever, germinates them, exterminates them. She said, I said, any goal update? She said, yes. The seeds that did grow grew well, and they are on their way to becoming actual plants. Still pampering them with lights, and they've taken over my entire office. So I think she hasn't watched the movie Little Shop of Horrors, because if she did, she would know.
She'd know.
And then she said, I sucked at cleaning my kitchen for a few weeks. And then she said, depression, ? Overwhelmed, ? Who knows, really? But pulled myself together this week, LOL. And that maybe kind of sound like maybe what you were talking about, where you were talking about just those tasks start to just add up. And I think you're right about you go from, the winter and things just start clogging the old mind and the old work valve.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I wonder if there was anything like, in the stars. Maybe more people were feeling like this the last couple weeks too. Maybe like Jupiter was in Uranus or something.
So good. So good. Thank you for playing the game with us today. One more. Amanda Keating said, sorry, I'm just getting around to this. We had a dog trainer over and her deaf puppy locked her out of her car, so that was a hassle. She said, your message actually made me think of a good goal. I know that I'm late to answer this. I struggle with anxiety, which is why I was so late to Cole Street. She did come down to the live event in Cole Street. Sarah and I got to meet her. Adam didn't. He didn't want to show up. The first time, and I was so late walking into Bordeaux the last time, and she did. So I think I'm going to take time to reflect on how I reacted to a particular incident during the day with anxiety and how I could have handled it differently. So basically, she's going to look at some self-reflection. Maybe that's journaling for her too. Maybe she want to journal that out, kind of like Adam doing some self-reflection too, in a sense. She said, for example, driving back from Auburn earlier, a school bus cut me off, which forced me to hit my brakes, set my anxiety off, therefore triggering me to yell obscenities at this idiot. I'll evaluate later how I could have better handled it. Cry face emoji, rolling on the floor, cry face emoji. So I like how people are getting deep with this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like surface level, like, I just want to lose 5 pounds and boy, I'm going to do it. It's like, no, like I'm a human being that needs to figure some shit out.
Yeah. I like that too. It's good.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like so many people are more vulnerable now after COVID, like this 20 stuff. I feel like just people are like, yeah, well, I have anxiety and this is what I need to do. Like, I know people were coming around to that before, but I really do feel like people's mental health and everything after this past year, people will just be like, hey, you know what? I don't want to talk right now. And my friends did not used to do that. Now they'll just be like, hey, I don't want to talk right now. I'll call you tomorrow when I'm in a better mood or something. And it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just think we know these things now. And we can say them because we all just went through shit all together.
Yeah, it was like we were in the bunker together. We understand. Yeah. And we understand. Well, at least for me, I understand it. Like, I'm like, yeah, go. I'm not mad. Take your night off. Like, we don't need to text nonstop. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But I would really like for you to reply back to me, though, Sarah. I mean, I gave you a few nights. So if you could please.
I'm still in a mood.
Well, I think we're really excited. Reading real quick, Sarah, before you go, reading any books, getting any listening pods, anything that's good, that's creating that inspiration while you've been cleaning house.
No.
Is that actually good? Does that kind of help to kind of take a break for that too? Like you're not always having to pour more stuff into your brain.
Yeah, I think sometimes I get caught up with that, and sometimes it's like, okay, I've got everything I need. I don't need to learn anything right now. I don't need to constantly be on the... that's a good thing to bring up, that, like, even though we're doing Goal Buddy Cast, that it's like sometimes you don't have to be bettering yourself. Sometimes bettering yourself is just, like, sitting right where you are and being really present.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it comes down to, is sometimes you do have to take that time, or I have to take that time to just deal with what's right here.
I agree. I agree with, I agree with that. For me, that's kind of where it comes being in as a dad, as a parent, because I'm telling you, Adam's going to laugh maybe at this, but me and Jamie, like the whole kids, we haven't done this in a long time, and it's probably because of the pandemic, but we all went to Jamie's softball game in Puyallup, everyone in the same car. We actually went out of the house and went and did something as a family. Granted, we had masks on. Granted, it wasn't like what it used to be like, but it was still all together, whether you liked it or didn't like it. Usually in the past, we're like, okay, hey kids, who wants to go? And there was like, oh, I'll stay here and watch TV. But I think with the pandemic, it's like, no, I've been watching TV for like 3 hours. Get me out of this darn house. And so everyone, even though if they really probably didn't want to go, like it wouldn't be like, hey, raise my hand, I want to be there. We all went. And so we're driving and I'm pulling off of 167 and we're listening to the radio, and all of a sudden, and the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon comes on.
Awesome.
Now, this is a memory. Why Adam laughed is because one time, I think I was a senior in it was at my graduation, maybe, or perhaps heading up into it. I know I was a teenager, and my parents had a karaoke machine. We had families over. We had my uncles and aunts and cousins and friends. We had everyone there, and hey, I know this song, Cats in the Cradle. Don't know anything about it, but I've heard the melody. I can sing it. So I start singing, but you're reading the lyrics, and if you don't know the song, it's where this guy, my son turned two just the other day. I don't know how that goes, but anyway, but he talks about at the beginning of the song that he has just got work and bills to pay. He's got too much going on, and his son's like, "Hey, Dad, that's okay, but when I want to grow up, I want to be like you. You're a good guy. Dad, I want to be just like you." And then Dad want to go play catch. This is like he's older. Hey, Dad, I'm coming home from college. Now the dad wants to hang out with the son. Hasn't seen the son for a while. And he's like, well, that's cool, Dad. We'll catch up, but I really want the car keys because I want to go see my pals. And so, and then it flips where the son now is too busy for the dad, and he realized he grew up to be just like his. And so it's this big old crazy like song, and then they throw in these cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, and I am just so. And Jamie knows this story. I may have already. It comes on. Jamie goes, "Okay, guys, prepare for some waterworks." Now, thank goodness I had some sunglasses on because it was immediately just, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm gripping the steering wheel. My palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. I had vomit.
Spaghetti.
I had vomit on my sweater already. Tears on my sweater already. I was driving, and I thought to myself, like, don't do it. But yeah, it reminded me of my childhood, and then it reminds me of, and my dad was great. Like, he was always there. That's what I realized. That's what was so sweet, was that he was always there. He wasn't the one that was like, hey, he'd throw the ball around with me and all that fun feels. But now it's like my 5-year-old, almost 5-year-old, she is like, wants to play, but she likes mom. And I realized that this is with another April thing. I realized that she was liking mom way more than dad. Now, I'm the guy that can walk in and scare her for like 2 minutes, but Jamie's the one that will sit there, will color with her, and I've done all that with my other kids. So it's hard to get back into that mode again, to get that energy going. But once I started, frequency, Adam said this earlier, frequency over, like, yeah, sure, I could go spend 4 hours with her and dink around on the trampoline and then 2 weeks not hang out with her, and then it's the frequency. And I've noticed that as I go outside and I throw the ball with her more often and I play with her a little bit more often, now she's coming to me. Now she wants to hang out with me a little bit more. Not that she doesn't like mom anymore, but it's like, wow, like I just got to nurture. I got to water the plant, and then the plant grows. So anyway, that was that's my thing. I don't know where that kind of came from. Where did that come from?
I was actually wondering the same thing.
Sarah said something and it triggered it for me.
Because you guys all got in the car as a family.
Yeah, that's probably what.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a goal for April. That's where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a point, not just to be in the house with the family, but to be a part, ask questions, talk, sit next to, hug, arm around, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Especially with mental health going on.
Yeah.
Like that's huge for kids. I just got to be that kid. Did you guys see that? I'm going off on a tangent.
Please do. I want to hear it.
Did you see that guy at the Holiday Inn?
No.
Did you see the Holiday Inn guy?
No.
So there's times in my life where I'll watch a viral video and it'll remind me of one of my kids, and then I'll lose it. And I'll get either mad or happy or sad. Either way, there's tears. It's going to be tears. And so there was this viral video that was going around. It was this guy at a Holiday Inn. He was working, and all of a sudden, you're walking in this video, watching this video of the guy who's the customer at 3 a.m. and he's kind of being pretty aggressive and egging this dude on. And the guy is actually being pretty cool and calm. He looks a little bit like the guy at the Holiday Inn employee who's at his desk trying to find this reservation. Somehow he can't find the reservation. And this guy's like, oh, this is how you're going to treat me? This is how you're going to treat me? The guy kind of looks like, who's the guy from Parks and Rec that I really, John
Ralphio.
John Ralphio. The guy looks like John Ralphio and Kane merged into one body. And so obviously I see this Kane thing. And anyway, this guy goes, hey, I'm trying to find it. I'm very sorry. And the guy's like, oh, so this is how you're going to treat me. This is how you're going to treat me. This is how Holiday Inn is. He hit his computer, everyone. He hit his computer. You didn't see it, but he hit his computer earlier. I've now brought the phone out because he hit his computer. And this guy's like, sir, I struggle with mental health. Could you please not? You're not even trying to help me. He hit his computer, everyone. He hit his computer. And the guy goes, I'm struggling. Please, sir. And he goes, and he's looking at the guy. He's looking at the He's not even looking at the camera. He's looking at the monitors. He's trying to help this guy, and this guy's egging him on. And hurt people. But so obviously the guy who's got the cameras doing something. He's got issues. But anyway, the guy goes, the guy holding the camera says, you're on video now. You're going to go viral. You're on video right now. You're going to go viral. And this guy, no joke, Holiday Inn dude, sits up and starts decking himself in the side of the head as hard as he can, just punching his own head. Then picks up a monitor and puts his own head through the monitor.
Whoa.
And he stands up and he starts sobbing. Starts sobbing and goes, "You're ruining my life. You've ruined my life. I'm gonna be like he's like, the guy's thinking like, now it's turning into a bigger issue, and now he is gonna go viral, and now people aren't, they're gonna think he's this psychopath, and obviously he's hurt, he's trauma, but he's got some traumatic stuff from his past, and the guy, he actually walked off into a side, like, not closet. And he just stood there and put his head against the wall and just sobbed. And the other guy's like, "Oh, this is the type of Holiday Inn people that this is who you hire. Oh, wow, this is who you hire, Holiday Inn."
What a jerk.
Yeah, it was really like, it was hard. It was hard to watch. But again, getting back to the point of I'm a dad, that's someone's kid. Mm-hmm. And that guy, who knows what type of childhood he had, to where in the mental health and the other things that's kind of going on. And it's like, wouldn't we just much rather just like build people up and just love on people and just even like, and so I'm like, I got to hang out with my kids. I can't, I see my kid in that reacting that way only because he kind of looks that way. And I'm like, I just don't, and not that I'd be mad that my son would react that way. I'd be disappointed in myself as a dad, meaning that there was something that I could have done that maybe could have helped him in his mental health.
That was very heavy.
There you go. And the cats and the cradle and the silver spoon.
Oh, I'm sad.
Yeah. Sarah's like, you know what? I'm going to go back to my desk. That I'm never listening to Travis again. I'm just going to enjoy just throwing away envelopes and going through mail. I will never complain about mail again.
Nothing left to throw away. I have nothing else to do except listen to you.
Oh, wow. That's sad.
I didn't know you cried so much.
I am such a crier. It's so like I feel like not a man. I feel like, I remember people saying like, I've never seen my dad cry, like maybe twice in my life. And that was at like his mom's funeral. And the other time when he cut his leg off with a chainsaw. And me.
You're talking about hog dog.
and then me, it's like, yeah, my dad watched Bambi and he was just in the pillow, just wailing.
Yeah, I have an emotional dad. He doesn't like cry all the time, or, like it's not excessive, but it's like, no, he's just a nice guy. He has empathy and sympathy for other people, and he loves his family.
Yeah,
It weirds me out if there's a guy that's like, I don't cry.
Yeah,
that's
okay. Yeah,
red flag.
Yeah, that's weird to me. There's a picture of my dad. I don't know if you remember at my wedding, my dad crying when my mom and I were dancing. If you guys saw that, but there was a picture that our photographer took.
In.
He just started bawling his eyes out.
That guy's mean.
Anyways,
he was, yeah, it is, and he actually talked about it. He did. I'm not joking. I think he mentioned about how it's like, I think it came up at some point where he was like, it's just, I see my son who's now grown up dancing with his mom, and it's a touching thing. I think he actually had tears because I think it was right after the best man speech, which was mine. But I think I just kind of like primed the pump.
He's like, my son, he's a terrible comedian. What have I raised?
Yeah.
Anywho's.
No, that is dad. That is my dad.
And mine.
Oh, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Small world. Small room we're sitting in. Sarah?
We appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for giving me a call.
And your energy.
About me.
Yeah. Well, we also wanted to call. This is better. We're going to ask you to not be on the pod for the rest of the year. So
I'll show up next time. Whether you like it or not.
I'm excited. I can't wait to get. And then Sarah, I gotta mention this on the podcast real quick because Sarah came to the live event, was absolutely super. Like what am I going to say? What am I trying to say? Like generous. There we go. I was going to say glorious. She was glorious too, but she was generous in giving away to the people that attended juice cleanse. You know, and that is juices. They weren't cleanse. Yeah,
juices and gave them out.
But still, yeah, I guess they weren't cleanses. Yeah, they're the juices. Anyways, super cool. And then she also rocked. She rocks great outfits. People don't understand this. You probably think about her. You're thinking, wow, gown at night maybe, like fluffy slippers. She maybe will smoke her vape that's plugged into a 1920s big long stemmed cigarette holder. And she's just got the rosé and just watching Matlock. She showed up. She looked like she stepped off of a Run DMC concert mixed with the Beastie Boys. She had shades on, leather pants. I'm not joking. She had chains. I'm not talking like some gold necklaces. I'm talking gold chains. Simon Rex shout out there. And she had like a shirt with a top with some like I think a little bit of a boots with the fur. I think the whole club
was looking at her.
Yeah.
Huh.
She hit the floor.
Next thing you know,
Sarah got low. She got COVID. But no, she.
Oh, wait.
That was a joke. But no, but she's just one of my favorite, like, eccentric. She looks like she walked off of a Macklemore music video.
Well, thanks. Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. You bring the life. You bring the flavor.
You know, what really happened was that I couldn't fit into any of my jeans. I didn't want to wear yoga pants, and those leather pants are kind of like yoga pants, but they're stretchy. That's the truth. I can't even button my pants. I don't have a pair of jeans to wear.
Oh, you're absolutely killing me. I love it. All right. Well, everyone, thanks so much for listening. Sarah, I appreciate you more than you know. Adam, you're cool too.
Thanks.
And
you are.
Thanks, guys. Bye, Adam. Nice to hear from you too.
Bye.
Bye.
She hung up on my outro. I don't want to hear any more of this. I'm done with this guy. Anyway, everyone, thanks so much for listening. Please message us. Please message us. Please,
we're not desperate. We're not desperate,
but we are kind of desperate.
Well, we're needy.
Super needy. Anyways, I just realized I got to release this tomorrow. So, anyway, thanks for listening and hit us up. And I got to start working on editing this.
You sound very happy about that.
Take care.
Bye.
goalbuddycast. goalbuddycast.